My name is Silvana Domaz. Thanks for watching my presentation. I'm a PhD Spanish linguistics student at ASU, Arizona State University, and this is a proposal for the use of an augmented reality game in the foreign language classroom. But what is augmented reality, or AR? It is a technology that superimposes a computer-generated image on a user's view of the real world, thus providing a composite view. In AR, the user sees the real world augmented with virtual objects. So comparing with virtual reality, while in virtual reality, the users are able to immerse themselves to varying degrees in the computer's artificial world, in the AR, the real and virtual objects coexist in the same space and interact within real time. And I thought the idea of using AR in a game seemed perfect because I believe it will motivate students to complete quests in a more meaningful and authentic way. And research has proved that gamification in learning has been very successful. The theoretical background that guides this investigation is the cognition hypothesis from Robinson and the use of task-based language teaching in AR as an approach to improve language complexity. Language complexity is one of the three aspects of language proficiency, according to Robinson and Skehan, right? The other two are accuracy and fluency. And complexity is the extent to which learners produce elaborated language. That is, the ability that the learner has to use a wide range of different structures. And I believe AR can potentially create optimal foreign language learning because it can transform a classroom setting into a situated learning environment, like Holden and Sykes have demonstrated in their study. Can also support context awareness or vocabulary in knowledge building. However, to date, no studies have investigated quantitatively the effects of AR in language development or proficiency, nor have they explored how this type of environment can influence language proficiency. So with that in mind, my research questions are, is there a differential effect of task-based language instruction on language complexity in the AR versus a non-AR based environment over time? And what are the language students' perception about language learning activities in AR versus non-AR environments? And if that relationship has any influence on their language complexity. So the participants will be one section, one class of Portuguese 201 as the experimental group using the mobile AR game, and one section of Portuguese 201 as the control group using the traditional learning methods, the online exercises and activities in class. The instruments are the oral pre and post tests to evaluate participants' language development at the end and beginning of the semester to know if there was any improvement, and recordings of the game activities, post-interview questionnaire to know students' perception about the experiment, about the game. So these two groups will work on 1 to 2 tasks at the end of each 5-unit. There's 5 chapters in the semester, so at the end of each chapter they are going to do 1 to 2 tasks. One group using the AR mobile game, the other one doing tasks in the classroom. All in-game data will be recorded, and all recordings in the AR will be logged and transcribed for detailed analysis, and also the time spent on each activity will be calculated. The patterns of task completion will be coded and compiled for future integration for changes in future tasks. And the oral pre and post test will be analyzed to gain additional insight into participants' awareness of their experiences with the game. And data also will be collected via the app. So the game consists of several challenging activities. And there are different types, just like in the reality TV show Amazing Race. You have the roadblock, you have Detour, and the same thing you will do in the AR game. Roadblock or Bloqueio, only one member of the team can perform the task. And then the next roadblock they see, the other team has to complete that task. Detour or Desvio is you have the choice of completing one task or another. And usually these tasks are one about grammar, the other one about a cultural aspect of the target language. So this is a pilot I did last semester. So the game starts with an introduction, a welcome page explaining how the game is played, and also with the instructions about the game. The first instructions about the game, which is the rota info or route info, saying that they have to stay together at all times. They cannot use Google Translate or any translation apps, and they can only use their phone for the game. Then the teams will choose their teams. Each student will pick a team that they want to belong to, and once there are two students in that team is no longer available. And the team names are based on the states in Brazil. Once they pick their team, they are presented with a historical, cultural background about the place that they chose, with a video or a text about the place. In this pilot, the first task was a roadblock or a bloqueio, where they had to, in groups of two, they had to find a Portuguese speaker in the languages building, introduce themselves to that Portuguese speaker, and also introduce their teammate to that Portuguese speaker. And once they complete the task successfully, the Portuguese speaker, which was a Portuguese instructor, would give them a QR code for them to scan and go to their next challenge. So they will see a map of all the Portuguese speakers in that building. And once they pick one, they have a little bio about the Portuguese speaker, their office hours, where their office is, so they can go and meet that person. And once they do that, the person will give them a QR code to scan for the next challenge. In the pilot program, the next challenge or task two was a detour or a Desvio, where they had to choose if they were going to do Aura or Explorer. In Aura, they would have to give directions to their other teammate to find a place. And once the teammate finds the place, they would come back and write down the name of the place and if they found the right place. In Explorer, they would look for 5 landmarks of Portuguese landmarks in the campus and take pictures of those places and identify them with their names. And these are screens that explain each activity and what they have to do for each activity. All data is recorded in the app, so if they have to take pictures, they can take the pictures using the app. If they have to write notes or write text, they write that in the app, or if it's a speaking activity, they also do that in the app. And once they complete the tasks successfully for that chapter, they are presented with the tag, the pit stop, and they have completed their challenges for that week. And depending if they're in the first place, second place, third place, they get different points for the challenge. So I hope that with this study, we can examine the role that AR plays in enhancing language learners' complexity. And I think that AR will successfully, I hope AR will successfully be applied to an intermediate language course and have improvements in language proficiency, as well as learning attitudes towards target language, in this case, Portuguese. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.